I'm filming this video this morning after reflecting on how I got through some really tough negotiations a while ago before I had Frankie. In fact, I was heavily pregnant with Frankie as I was negotiating at the time one of the biggest contracts I had done. And recently I've had some of the similar feelings come up with negotiating in other contracts, and it had me go back to what actually really helped me and had me continue to move forward. And look, as an entrepreneur, you know, talking about your fees, raising your fees, putting in proposals, letting people know what the investment is challenging. And I work on this myself regularly, and I work on this with my clients. And when I remembered this tool, I remembered just how powerful it is. And in fact, remembering it, I've also remembered how powerful it is to use in so many other areas of my life, not just talking about raising my fees or what I'm charging or putting in proposals, etc. for clients. And it's based on a Hawaiian doctor, Dr. Hen, let me just get his name right. Hugh Lin is the small version of his name. And I remember first of all hearing about this through Dr. Joe Vitale, and it's called Ho'oponopono. And it really is talking about there's 4 phrases that you say to really take ownership of what you've created. So I often have taught above the line, below the line, and I've got great workshops about how do you play above the line versus below the line. And I find that combining the paradigm shift around the above the line, below the line model with the 4 phrases that I'm going to share with you, extremely powerful for meshing the two together and giving me a good strategy of how I emotionally move forward. Because I think there's one, logically and rationally, I know how to, I could figure it out. But heck, who am I kidding? My body, my world is not dealt on my ability to be rational. I'm an emotional, person having emotions and feelings and experiences, as are you and as are all my clients. So for me, having tools that help me move through a little bit more elegantly and a little bit more gracefully through some of the challenges that I have, I find is a good thing. And, when I'm negotiating some of my contracts, especially when it's really stretching me, I've not ever had to say put my prices at that price because I feel, just due to whatever we're creating, or if I am increasing my fees because I have upgraded my skill and talent and the value that I offer to my clients, it can give me the wobbles, and fear can kick in, anxiety, self-doubt, my monkey chatter goes into overload. I get nervous waiting for an email to come back in my inbox, and I keep clicking refresh, but then going, oh God, am I going to have to deal with it? Because I'm thinking worst case scenario that I'm going to get yelled at or abused at because of my fees, like some really bad worst case scenarios. And I know I'm not the only one, because I certainly I know friends of mine and clients of mine, these are the conversations we have. So he talks on the premise that you create everything that shows up in your world, and that it's being responsible for that and forgiving and healing those parts of you that created it. And when I first started to understand that, I really did get that, because I've heard, after doing 20 plus years in personal development, I went to my first personal development program at 19, which was robust to say the least. I've been around, and done a lot and had a very, interesting life as well, I think, anyway. And so I know the whole thing of, your life is your responsibility. I mean, heck, I even teach that. But that's a big phrase to own. What does that actually mean? And more importantly, what are you willing to accept within that? So with Ho'opono, it is about taking ownership and being responsible that you have created the scenario. So whether it's you're negotiating a new proposal with a fee, you've had a complaint in your business, you're wanting to stretch out and do more things, or you've got some, relationship stuff going on, it is saying that you're part of that ecosystem and that you're creating it. So therefore, by healing it from your end, it's going to shift the energy and the relationship. And I totally agree with that. In fact, when I was negotiating this very large contract, whilst heavily pregnant, like literally heavily pregnant, weeks out from giving birth to my daughter, I truly kept dropping into this place of working on these 4 key phrases and owning my responsibility of being in some of the trickier parts of the negotiation, and not letting my fear and it get too much, and my anxiety get overwhelming because I was so stretched out of my comfort zone. So it's about you being responsible, and he talks about there's no out there and that it's all within. And I really loved that. And the simplicity of it is beautiful. And even this morning, I've done a meditation on this for 20 minutes with a certain, conversation I've got with some clients that is making me feel a bit icky. And I know for them, they're most probably feeling the same. So I've taken ownership on my end of me healing my elements to it, and actually just giving them some healing and love as well. I really do think they're fabulous people, and we've just come to a bit of a nuance in our relationship. So for me, it was about how do I shift this from my side? So the 4 key phrases are: I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, and thank you. So by stating those 4 things, I love you, and the I love you is saying it to yourself and to your client or supplier or situation that you're experiencing. I'm sorry, again, apologizing and taking ownership of being sorry to yourself and healing those parts of you. And then also I always put it on to my client as well. And I put it on for my client or the supplier or whatever is going on, that I'm sorry that this situation has arisen, and that, for what I've created in it. And it really, at first, sometimes it's a bit hard to swallow, I must admit. It's like, oh, it's not my fault, which is all victim mode, which certainly gives a certain outcome. But this is really about shifting it and taking ownership for myself. So I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And again, please forgive me, I'm saying that to myself. And then I'm asking for forgiveness from my client or supplier or whoever I'm having this conversation with, though I'm not actually saying it to them. This is me doing my own work on my own. And then the final piece is thank you. And when you really drop into this and feel it and are genuine, and it's genuine for feeling it for yourself, healing those wounds in yourself, healing the past and things that have kept recurring, and then really being genuine with your love and desire to heal this space that's been created with the personal people that you're working with, it really does shift how you feel. And I get to a point where I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have this healing and this transformation, that it then shifts me from having a real attachment to whatever the outcome is. And I noticed when I did this, and what really stood out for me was with this really large contract, because it was so testing. It was so testing of me, not so much delivering the work and the content, but it was so testing of me and my faith and love for myself of really honoring me and the work that I was doing, and being okay that the people I was negotiating with are going through their experience of life. And really, I was doing this daily, and it just got to such a beautiful, profound space that something shifted in the contract that actually worked out better for me, that I couldn't have foreseen anyway. And I started to drop the angst, and I realized too it was a pattern that was kept showing up. So I was actually healing my past as well, which I think is so freeing. And I believe that all of us looking for answers of healing elements of our past to have more presence in the now and to be more inspired and look forward to our future with a cleaner path or a cleaner whiteboard, or whatever it is that you describe your future. So I find that Ho'oponopono is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful way to do it. It's peaceful. You can do it with your eyes open. You can mutter it to yourself. You can do it quietly inside. You can do it anywhere, anytime, and no one needs to know. But it really does shift the vibration of you and then the vibration of who you're working with and dealing with. And actually, I must remember this as well when I'm feeling a bit stretched and maybe a bit frazzled after in some of the glorious mother moments, that this would be beautiful to also do with my daughter and really own the parts of me that have created this. So those 4 phrases again: I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. So I would really invite you to look into your world of who would this be beautiful to do with, who in your business world could do with some extra love, and I would say everyone, who in your family, your friendship, your circle, and maybe the world as well. Like I look at some of the challenges and dynamics going on in our world where I think a bit more love would actually go a long way. So powerful 4 phrases, they've transformed my life, and I'm so grateful I remembered them this morning as I've done a beautiful meditation on it. So I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.